Welcome to Stamp Camp Week of Webisodes. Now, if you're a beginning stamper, don't worry about this. We have things to share with you, and if you're an experienced one, you're going to be very happy with this whole week. We're going to begin with a brand new DVD, Teresa Welch's Stamp Camp number 4 DVD.
It is loaded with techniques. There are 69 new techniques in here, but what I love about it is that they're not difficult.
Right.
You're going to be able to accomplish them, and we're going to show you how to do some of them.
So, come play with us. Well, here is this little gem. Stamp Camp 4 by Teresa Welch, and as it says, 100 unique cards, 8 hours of video, yes, I did them, and 69 techniques. Now, Teresa has divided this into 9 chapters, and they're listed right here, but I'm going to show you what you see when you put this in your computer. So this is what launches.
So this is the first thing you see after you put it into your computer. You click on it, and here you go.
Right, and you can see that the 9 chapters, so there's an intro video just giving you some basic things and some techniques that Teresa uses.
Okay.
The stamping basics, there's a wonderful sheet that says the different properties of all the different types of stamps.
So great background information.
Exactly. Then heat embossing, watercolor, embossing folders, stencils, dies, and die cuts. So that's going to be cutting dies.
Okay.
Vellum, acetate, pens and pencils.
So it's a great array of everything you can do with stamping that you haven't seen on the other DVDs.
Exactly. And what I thought as I was doing the videos is I thought, boy, grab your ink pads and go, because this is really going to do it.
Fantastic.
Now, the first card we're going to show comes from chapter 3, and I thought this might be another nice thing to see. So I've got this great big printout.
So when you click on one of those chapters, this is the next thing that's going to pop up.
So if you skip the intro, chapter 1 and chapter 2, and went to chapter 3, it's going to be about watercolor. And you can see this is exactly what it looks like. So the first one is called No Fail Watercolor. In fact, we're going to do that. Let's get in close to see that. And you'll see that there is a video, okay? And there's also 2 cards. So when you click on the cards, you're going to see the instructions and the image of the card and the inside. And you've got 2 options. The video is going to show you both of them and do a demo.
Great.
So that's what happens as you go through the whole thing, just like that, speeding. So let's get to the projects, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see that one close up.
So this is No Fail Watercolor, and number 1, love the title. Teresa has, so the watercoloring that she's doing is both this background as well as what she used for doing her flowers and her leaves.
And so for the background, you're seeing distress inks, first of all.
Right.
And these are distress ink mini sets, and they are number 1 and number 5 was used for this one in particular. I love the little mini size sets of distress inks.
And actually, these are used throughout the DVD. Teresa liked them for the same reason that you do. You get a lot of colors. And so anyway, so they are used. You can certainly use the larger ones, no problem.
Sure, although there are some colors in the sets that we don't supply individually, so that's what's great about the sets too. I love that they're small, easy to handle.
And I think there's 9 of them altogether.
I think you're right. And then this was used on watercolor paper.
Right.
So it's a big pad, it's like a blue, it's great. Nice big size of watercolor paper. You can cut them down to suit.
And actually, watercolor paper is going to be in the offer today, the Money Saver. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, you want to show?
Okay, I'll show you just a small portion so you can see how those little flowers were done. And I'm going to start with something you can't see. This is the watercolor paper. And then starting with the Flower Frenzy stamp set, this was heat embossed with white embossing powder. So there, you can see right onto the watercolor paper. So that was heat embossed, and all of those little flowers are done individually. Then you take out some of those great little mini ink pads. I have picked raspberry here and spiced marmalade. That's from one of those sets. And the DVD tells you everything you need for it. Go ahead and open them up, and you're just going to press them directly onto the paper. That's what I did. I found that that was the easiest. And of course, because that's embossed on there, it's going to resist right around the embossed that embossed flower.
Now you're not trying to get it a solid color.
Nope, not really.
Okay.
I don't mind that it's a little bit sketchy there. I don't mind that it's not going to mix together when I use the next one. If you like, you can use a stylus and keep your inks kind of pure and not mix colors, but I'm going to do this one right on top of it. It doesn't really bother me. So you can see it also beads up on top of the embossing. So get it around there, the different colors. Okay, so now it looks like maybe crayons on something.
It does.
And you get out the glimmer mist, and this is, I believe it's cool diamond.
Yeah.
This one is iridescent gold, but she
Dazzling
used
diamonds is
dazzling
what she
diamonds,
used, yeah.
right? So this one, this will work too. But the dazzling diamonds, I would have chosen that one because it's a little more clear. This will work. And the cool thing about this, okay, so now there's really no water. There's just ink on that paper.
Right.
But when you spray it with the glimmer mist, it's going to immediately
I bet it's going to
blend
activate
it together.
Yeah. Ooh.
So, and you really want, she said she really wanted to saturate it. And then I'm going to take a paper towel, which I would have had handy, and just sort of blot it a little bit to remove it just from the embossing there.
So the liquid from the glimmer mist is
Right.
going to activate the inks and blend them together. Plus it's going to add a little shine,
Right.
isn't it?
And it does that so well, for another reason, because it's on the watercolor paper. The watercolor paper will absorb it, and it's a lot easier than cardstock. Would bubble up a lot and not absorb the ink as much. I do want to mention another thing that she does in this technique. If you look at the front of the card, there are some areas where she put flowers together. Maybe it's on the inside, where the images were put together. I'm not quite sure where it is, but she used a mask, and that she'll stamp the image on another piece of paper, cut it out, and that way when she stamps one, if she wants to stamp another, makes it look like it's behind it, she'll just set that on top of there. She would use the same image, set that, and then stamp around it. So use a mask.
Now you did a little piece of paper, but
Right.
normally you would really do a larger one because you want to do a variety.
I would do several.
Yeah.
You can even use scraps of paper for small, or one big one, stamp it all over, do all of this at once, and then cut out those images.
And Teresa, as you said, used the Flower Frenzy stamp, and of course she paired it with the Flower Frenzy cutting die, so that just makes it easier. You can use any flowers obviously with this technique, but I love the fact that in doing the greens in the background and then layering the flowers on top, and she foam taped them, and I'll turn this sideways so you can see. There you go, several layers. You get a lot of depth in this, as well as that shimmer. It's just quite lovely.
The shimmer is nice. So in that background as well, she just sponged on those inks and sprayed it with the glimmer mist.
And on the inside, showed you a brief look at that, but there you go with more of them. So this is, of course, a lighter green that's been going on, and there you go. So a beautiful, no fail. You're not going to blow it. So
you don't have to worry about lines or anything. You just spray it and blend.
Okay, now we're going to do a technique that is called drips and drabs. It is off of a different chapter, and this has a different technique going on.
It does. Now you're really going to start some watercoloring with this and adding a little water to blend them together very easily. What I like about this is that it's so bright, and it's so bright because she used Dilution's ink sprays. So the ink sprays are like this, but you don't only have to use them like a spray. You can open up the top and you can start painting. So if I set that off to the side, and I don't know if I'll need that, but
You're talking to yourself.
I am.
Okay, the two that was used is, let's see. This is Funky Fuchsia
and After Midnight.
Okay.
There's also a white one, which is over on your side, and that's used at the end, and I'm going to show you how that one
And this is white linen
as well.
Okay.
So what she did is took the watercolor paper, and she's got it mounted on here on cardstock so that it won't bubble up when it gets wet. And she actually mists it a little bit with water before she starts.
Now you've already done the heat embossing, right?
And it's going to, she actually did that, put it on there and then heat emboss, so either way. So this is with the florals, the fresh cut stamp set.
So this is an open design, so that's really going to work best on this type of technique. So you can see it's line art and they're not real tight.
So you've got areas you can color in very easily.
Right.
So I'm going to head, that's been heat embossed, so it's white embossing powder. It's been heat embossed on there, and you just spritz it a little bit. You don't need it to be too wet. That's my understanding on this one.
Okay.
Step one, spritz. And you want to keep it kind of wet while you're working. I'm going to open these up.
And not spray them.
And not spray them. And then start adding. I kind of feel like I need a little bit of, I think I'm going to add a lot of water. That's what it was. Okay. I'm going to put some water on here because I want kind of a wet brush when I pick them up so that they're not too dark.
Okay.
And
Not too
then-
saturated.
And then I'm going to start and make sure that I'm here in the middle. So with a little bit of water, you add a little bit, and it should stop right where that embossing is.
Right.
And then when you want to go on to the next color, just pick up a little bit of the purple. I'm getting that out of here. I'm going to add it. I'm going to really water that down. I don't want that too much. And then you just start drawing it out.
I appreciate that you can use products you may already have in different ways, and that's always kind of a nice justification.
Right.
And plus, if you're not spritzing anymore, or maybe that isn't a technique you're using quite as often, you can still use the product that you own.
Right.
So that's great.
If you feel like it's too dark, I kind of feel like I should have had a little bit more water when I did this. I do remember her saying that it's, you know, and you'll see it on the video too with Paulette, that it's, you know, add more water so that it doesn't pick up. You can sort of go like that. There you go, and that sort of takes away some of the color. But it's easy to
what
go
I think
right
is
up.
beautiful about using the dilutions is that you do get that bright color.
Right.
So you've got this. So you're just getting dips and drabs into it, and you can see that the colors can mix just with dropping them in with your paintbrush as you showed.
And even if it goes out past the edges, when you get the paper wet, it will pick it up and take it out a little bit, but it sort of frames it. I think it's kind of a nice look. The last thing that she did at the end was with that white dilutions, she just got a little bit of it on the end of her paintbrush, and then she just flicked it like that, and got these little white dots on top of it there.
Very pretty. And as Teresa does, just some little bits, and we'll back up a little bit so you can see there is an oval doily going from the fold of the card down, which is just a lovely accent, and but still allows that stamped image to be the star. And on the inside, she's done another image from that same stamp set, the fresh cut.
And the stamping that you see is with the pink surfaces stamp pad. So that gives
for the
I love that.
happy birthday and
I love the matching pink there. It's just really
just for you. Dips and drabs. Okay.
So that's a neat one.
This is called Black Magic, and I have to tell you, it's one of my favorites. I think this is so striking, and of course Black Magic is just a fun name, but just a gorgeous, gorgeous look. So you've got a bunch of stuff over there.
I've got
this
things ready.
Is done with the postcard step set. And so they look like this. These are large images. This is on an 8x8.
Right, you're going to need a large acrylic block to hand, but they will take those.
And yet it does have the smaller elements too. So not only these beautiful giant ones, but a lot of smaller ones. So you get a lot of variety.
Right. And you see that. You can see the greetings here. You can see some of the smaller butterflies here. But really the star is that large imprint. And how did you get that?
Right.
And really it was, it's really an interesting technique in that we're going to start with this background. You're seeing two things already done here. But the background, and this is just cardstock, this is not watercolor paper this time, was treated with two distress inks. This one is Salty Ocean, this one is Evergreen Bough, and you're just going to go around with an ink stylus like this one, or that's an ink stylus. And she said that she liked the felt applicators on there. You can use a sponge applicator too if you prefer that. And here, right in front, I think there's. And so that just goes around just like this. You ink it up and you just go around, and you're going to add the ink around the background. and sort of mix them, the two different colors in the center.
Now it looks like she's got really dark colors here, and
Right.
this is really light.
This is a little bit light, so it's sort of up to how much you want to add. You can add a little more. After you've done that, then you're going to do the embossing. So after I added the color, I stamped and embossed this postcard. You can see, my paper got kind of wrinkled. But you can see, so it's embossed with clear embossing powder so that you can see right through to the inking that you've done.
Now, one thing I want to tell you is that we've shown you 3 projects, and all of them have used the clear gloss embossing powder, right?
Oh, no, the first one was white.
Was white?
Yeah,
okay. Well, that's
But
one
still.
reason why we like the large ones. You can get the smaller containers like this, but when you're serious about stamping, this is really a nice value. So
It is. I mean, there's a
works
lot
well.
of these projects, a lot on the DVD that did use the clear gloss, and it can be used in so many different ways. Once you've got that, once you've got it heat embossed, so now it's on there, you can't really see the image, and that's where you bring in some acrylic paint. So we've just got some regular black acrylic paint.
Nothing special there.
Nothing special about it. I've got some over there. I've got kind of a wide brush, wider than this, might even be a little easy.
Yeah.
But this will work. I've used this one before, and so I'll go ahead and put a nice layer on there and just start painting it across your piece like
Which
that.
some of you inside are screaming, "Don't do that, you're gonna ruin it."
Yeah, it's going away.
And
Say goodbye.
part of me was screaming that too.
But once you see what we're going to do after, it'll be pretty interesting. You get a good layer of paint on there, and then you're going to have to wait a minute. It says 1 to 3 minutes, which really is not very long.
Right.
But so I'll just make sure that's a nice even coat on there, and I can see it starting to dry a little bit already. Make sure everything is covered.
Stop keeping it wet.
Okay, so that's so you know, acrylic paint is pretty a cheap way to make this black. You know, when I first saw it, I totally thought it was on black cardstock.
Right, it does look like that.
So I thought that was pretty neat.
It has a really nice feel to it, and so that's kind of an extra thing that just very smooth, very polished.
Right. Do you think we need to wait a little bit more?
Well, I don't think it's been 3 minutes, but
No, but 1 to 3 minutes.
It's been at least
I bet you
one.
it's been almost a minute.
Or 45 seconds.
What I have here is, I'll explain this wipe here. This is a baby wipe.
Yes.
Nothing in particular, no special baby wipe. It's just a regular one. We're going to go ahead and start. And I'm going to concentrate on the areas around the where the embossing powder is.
Right.
And I'm going to start taking off.
And you
the
don't
paint.
take off much. You just, so you don't rub it a whole lot. You just do the stroking, and it will start removing that. There you go.
There we go.
So you're just lifting off the kind of the top layer of the paint,
Right.
and going into the
we
embossed
go.
area. There you
Getting
go.
a clean area every time I move. I think if we were to wait, you know, a minute more,
Would it have been better?
it would be dry, because I did do this, and I waited a couple of minutes, and right now it's just a little bit
Yeah.
wet still. It wants to stick on there, but maybe if I
So follow the
there we go.
instructions.
But you can see that
Yeah.
it does come off, and it typically leaves it on the area behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there. Okay,
There
you can
you
see it
go.
starting to.
Very nice.
It is.
And see, what you're seeing there is the text. So let me slide this
and
one
there's
in.
There you go. There's the flower down at the bottom.
It kind of gets revealed.
Mm-hmm.
And you
I
can
do suggest keep moving that. Get a new edge on that baby wipe to get the. There we go. You can really see
Isn't
it now.
that fun?
It's drier down there.
Yeah.
go.
So the
Beautiful.
drier, the better. So if you want the lighter color, that's
Right.
going to work. If you want a deeper color, you can play with that.
She really did get a nice deep blue
She
on
did.
there. I love that.
Now, something that I love that Teresa does is that, well, let's see, wait a minute. Let's back up a little bit and let me show you the inside. I forgot to
Okay.
do that. So this has got greetings. Also, Teresa is really known around here for her ribbon treatments. Now, that it's really simple when you see it, but I don't know that I've even seen that before. So just that knot at the end, doing the V at the end,
Right.
so just folding that in half
I
and
noticed that
snipping
too.
it.
So you've got a little banner, and then you
Yeah.
echo it with that ribbon.
Right. And then on the inside, I don't have an inside. Okay, there was an inside. What she does is she gives 2 examples. So here's the one that is demonstrated in the video. But then look, to give you another idea, is here she's done it with the Halloween, and I think it's just brilliant.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
And this is with
spooky. It looks
something wicked, yes. And to see how the colors, so very often, at least this happens to me, is that I'll see a demonstration, I think, okay, that's really pretty, and okay, well, now how would I use it on something else? Well, I'm maybe not sure.
And here's something that I want to mention. Okay, did that look difficult? Did any of that seem difficult?
No.
I mean, there's steps involved. You do your inking, you do your heat embossing, then you paint over it, and then you wipe off. It's not difficult.
I think the only trick was letting it dry more than 45 seconds.
Apparently,
because,
I'm not able to do that.
Here's something else, is that in this one, she's done another doily. Now, I would not think of a doily for Halloween. And then she's inked it. So something wicked, it's just a beautiful look and very fun. So fun to see it in a very unexpected way, as well as maybe a more traditional way.
So a couple of different ideas for the same technique.
Now, this is called Black Magic. Later in the DVD, she shows another black magic that is done in a different manner. And this is black cardstock.
It is.
It's been stamped first with white.
Right, white stays on ink.
Right.
And so that gives it a
That's
nice
white stays on.
Right.
There you go.
It doesn't look white right now because after that you add the Spectrum Noir blendable pencils.
Right.
This one is from the primary set. There's a lot of great sets and have all of these great colors. In fact, if I open it up for you, these blendable pencils, they're made to work in conjunction with Spectrum Noir pens or by themselves.
Right.
And there are all of these great colors, one of which is being used elsewhere at the moment. And so once you get that on there, then you can start adding color.
Right.
So for instance, I'm just going to grab pink, just because, I don't know, it's kind of pretty. And I'm going to start adding, it looks, you just color right on top of the white. If I can get it on top of it. There we go. She said that she also tried coloring in the open areas, but she thought that was kind of muddy. So she just stayed on top of the white, followed around the lines. You use those pencils right on there. And don't worry about having a little sketchy lines show up. You can just get it all on the white. I'm covering it up. So now you see this other color. So that's just kind of a neat way. If you were... It's like following the lines. It's just giving you something to color. And then if you use one of the paper blending stumps that are recommended with the Spectrum Noir blendable pencils, there's also a blending solution. I poured some of the blending solution onto a little sponge. You get that on there and you should just start mixing it. It smooths out the lines is what it does. So there now it just mixes nicely. And nice smooth lines on your pencil.
You can do
marks.
your black magic with paint, or you can do your black magic with
blendable
pencils. Whoops, there you go. So similar look, two different methods, and I really appreciate that. I think that was very fun.
Right.
Now, Teresa does have a chapter on stencils, but here she has done some stamping on top of a stencil, and I have to tell you, I think that is such a beautiful look. Now, obviously, you're going to want to choose which ones you use with some care. In this case, we have used the fern stencil. So here it is. Now, that's a large image, but she has just used pieces of it. So you can take this little one, which is kind of a medium size, lay it there, you can turn it over, have it go the opposite way.
And you can just ink through that with one of the Distress ink sets.
Exactly.
Little small sets to get that color.
But look what she's done on top of it. It is just gorgeous. Now, in this case, she used some sticky embossing powder.
Right.
We also know that you can use the flitter glue, which you've demonstrated before, but to do the sticky embossing, you're going to show that?
I am going to show that, and I'm going to show it right next to one that's already been done. So we've got that beautiful fern in the background, which has been one of the Distress ink sets. If you can check the DVD, it will give you the listing of that. And then I've got, from the Mega Flakes, I've got Lancashire Rose, and you can see all of the beautiful colors, and that's how they're going to appear on there. I also have the sticky embossing powder. Looks like this. It looks a lot like clear embossing powder, but it has a little stickiness to it. I've got a Versamark pad to get that on there, and then I've got my Scoochie sponge for afterwards. So I'm going to start with stamping this piece, and this was from the Wildflowers or Unforgettable, the Unforgettable stamp set. So there's the flower there. I go ahead and use my Versamark on there, get that inked up. Ready to go.
And you can see it's Mark's studio, so nobody takes it from us.
Sorry about it.
You've got to watch things around here.
That stays here. Okay, so I've done the Versamark. I'm going to go ahead and stamp right over that stenciled image, just like so. Make sure that's on there nicely. And then I'm going to use the sticky embossing powder. And what Teresa mentions about the sticky embossing powder is that when you heat it, you don't want to overheat it. You want to heat it just until it turns clear, and then it will be ready to, it'll stay sticky a little bit. Basically, if you overheat it, she suggests that it sort of removes some of the stickiness. And then she says you want to work okay, thank you. She wants to work kind of quickly,
right,
to make sure that you're that it's going to stick. But that's the cool thing about the sticky part, is that you can stick stuff onto it. Okay, so I'm just going to heat this up real quick. I'm watching it. I sort of lift it up so I can see the light on it, and there you can see it turning already. So there, just heating until it's glossy. And there it is, not overheating it. So the image is still on there, it's just a little bit glossy. Next I'm going to grab my Mega Flakes. I'm going to put it over here so I can capture what I don't use. Put a little bit of that on there. And you don't really need a lot, but it doesn't matter what you dump on, because afterwards you're going to dump it back into the little canister.
Reuse it all.
And I'm going to use my finger, move it around a little, make sure that it's on there.
I love that copper and gold. There's some red in there too.
It's beautiful, really even a little bit of like a rust color, brown. Okay, so I've definitely got it on there. I can sort of wipe away some of it. And then I get the scoochy sponge, ever important scoochy sponge, which takes off the rest of it and leaves it in fine detail. I don't feel like it's sort of stuck on there. I didn't press hard enough. I'm going to press a little bit more on there.
Okay.
And then remove it. There we go. And there you go.
Nice.
That's the sticky embossing powder. You can stick Mega Flakes onto it.
And that's all it takes. And then all of this that's left, you just scoop it back into the container, and it is reusable.
And it's just a beautiful, super shiny look.
Gorgeous. Let me go back to the finished example. Okay. And it's just fun to do that layering. And of course, the stamped image is going to be in the forefront. So anything in the back, you just want to have lighter and let it, you know, kind of fill in the area behind the stamped images. The butterfly is especially gorgeous.
That would be beautiful on black as well, on black cardstock. Maybe you could stamp with some white stays-on in the background.
That'd be fun to see.
There.
Very, very lovely.
Beautiful.
So this is doing stamping on top of stencils. So there are quite a few things, and I think tomorrow we're going to be going into more stencil ideas.
Right.
Now this is just a beautiful one. Let me see which way I turn it, like this.
There we go.
And look at that. That is just beautiful. That shimmer is gorgeous.
It is beautiful, and that's done with some layering. You're seeing layers of ink. You're seeing what used to be embossing powder, a clear embossing powder. So there it's
what used to be, huh?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. And then you're seeing perfect pearls on top of it.
Okay.
And we actually have a couple of ideas, not just for perfect pearls.
We do. Okay. So there's the beautiful look, and I'll show you inside.
And again, that beautiful ribbon technique. That's wonderful.
Isn't that pretty?
Here's something that's kind of, what you do is you make a large piece. You see how there's a piece here, when you open it up, there's a smaller piece on the inside. Make one large piece, cut one end off and put it on the inside, and use the rest of it for the inside.
Because you are going to want to use these.
Right. So in this one, I've got a piece where she did quite a bit of it already, but what this starts out as is just cardstock. She inked over the cardstock. You can see the green and the blue From in this set, she used a number 1 and number 9 distress ink sets.
Okay.
And so she used a blue and a green that's from that set, and you'll see all that. I think we're even going to post these in the gallery. And,
we will.
And you'll have it on the DVD. And once it's been inked all over, sort of got that blended together, then she stamped and embossed, and this is with the butterflies stamp set. There's this great...
Should I bring that in?
Yeah, please.
There you go. It's
she
this set.
Right, she used this image, and she just used it over and over.
So it has the trail, the butterfly trail there.
Right, but she has also added additional swirls, additional small butterflies. So just cover your paper, and this is with Versamark, and then emboss it with the clear gloss embossing powder.
Once again.
So now you've got that all over. You've completely inked it, you've completely embossed it, and now we get to the fun part.
But this is the look we're going for. So,
right. So what we're going to need is another ink pad. So over the top we're going to use the mustard seed ink pad. And then instead of Perfect Pearls, which you can use Perfect Pearls, and Interference would probably be a good set to use with this.
Let me bring that in just so you can see
right,
it.
If you're not familiar with Perfect Pearls, that comes with 4 different colors and the perfect medium that helps to adhere it. And we're going to attach it in a different way, but it's got 2 brushes, which are great, and they're real pearlized, very pearly and shimmery, and so are mica powders.
Right, actually they're similar products. So
you can use them in
get
a
some
lot
options.
of different. But I love it. Here's the teal. So this great teal is a great way to cover the top, and when you open it up, it looks a lot like Perfect Pearls. I think it's shimmery. It's much more shimmery than Perfect Pearls, and that's natural mica that's just been pigmented, and it's just a beautiful look. Okay, so we've got that ready to go. We have to have it ready because we want to do this while the ink's wet. So we're going to take, I've got mustard seed ink, and we're going to ink over the top of this, right over the embossing and everything. We're just going to start inking over like so.
And again, you may be saying, wait a minute. What are you doing?
We're getting that
we'll just
back
do
up.
a little bit.
We'll just do a little
yeah.
bit. We've got this side here all inked up, and while it's still wet, I'm going to take my brush and this is the mica powder. And
or Perfect Pearls, either one.
Just start brushing it on. Does that seem right?
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I did the videos months and months ago to get this DVD ready. So
see, I'm doing things that Paulette has already done. I'm waiting for her to tell me, no, that's not the way to do it. And I'm brushing it, really getting it. You can see it sort of moving all over there. Just beautiful.
Actually, I think it's fun that you only did part of it. So let's back up a little bit and see both of them, because that's quite a dramatic change from the left side to the right side.
To the right side, but that's not the finished point. I mean, once you've got on there, it's sort of pearlized everywhere. But the next step is to take that, put it between 2 sheets of just blank paper. So it's not cardstock, it's just paper. You're going to put it between 2 sheets of paper once you've got that powder all over it. And then you're going to use an iron in between there. You're going to put a hot iron on there and iron it, and the embossing powder, the gloss, is going to soak into that top paper, and what you get is what you see there.
So what happens, and you will amaze your friends, it feels like, because you just feel it feels a little rough, but you don't feel any embossing powder.
Right.
So it's really kind of mysterious.
It is.
And isn't that just gorgeous?
I didn't mention, because it might not be on the gallery, that I actually used something different than she used. So it's Metallic FX. It's the mica powders.
Right.
And this one is Glacier Lake. That's that teal
Well, we
color.
won't be giving the instructions because that's really part of Teresa's.
Right.
So we'll have the photographs.
On the DVD, but just if you wanted to use mica flakes instead, check out the line of mica flakes.
Right. Mica powder.
Mica powder. Mica powder.
Now, Teresa did this one. Again, her idea is to give you options. So here's the front of her card. always to have more to go on the inside. Now this is another piece,
Right.
and in this stamp set there are also words. So thinking of you, what a happy day. So several things.
Lovely down there, and then the
Yes,
small
lovely.
butterflies going right off
Right.
the edge of that little piece.
So she also used those, but isn't that, it's just glorious.
It is beautiful.
Now, in Teresa's, this is a technique she always does, is she gives us another one.
Right.
So there's another combination of colors that you can see,
Right.
and again, a larger piece on the front, and then this time a strip on the inside, going
So
next to the
beautiful.
fold.
This one was done with using some small swirls. There is a
Right.
swirl on that set that will do this as well. I believe she called out the small swirl stamp, but if I'm not sure
Right,
that that's
it's no longer available,
it's
but
no
look,
longer.
you've got it right there.
Right
So
there,
one
so
stamp set,
there
you're
you
going to
go.
be good.
Mhm.
Well, that's nice.
Oh,
That's
there's
nice
a big
to
one
know.
down at the
Yeah.
bottom too. That would work
Okay,
great.
you can get beautiful.
And I
look.
love the little tags, and that's using the tiny tags
It
and little
is.
labels cutting dies, and it's real easy to create some labels that way.
Right.
So lots of ideas and techniques.
Now, we've shown you several, and we've
Right.
shown you some demos. I just want to pique your interest
Okay.
because we're not going to show the techniques, but this is a crystallized flowers, and she does several techniques with them. And this is with vellum that's surprised. She shows us how to color,
Oh,
which I
great.
never thought
and
of before.
what would you use to color that?
Well, you'll have to see the DVD. You know,
Okay.
that's all there is to it. I want to
Throw
give
some
all of
em-
Teresa's
Throw
secrets.
some embellies on the center of those flowers. That's a
And
beautiful look.
I love unique looks, and so I want to show you this. This is, and I'm hoping the camera catches it, this is embossed acetate. Now, the shine that you're seeing, well, Teresa did that on the back side of the
On the
acetate.
back of the acetate.
And did it with crystal lacquer and micro glitter, and I think it is just
It is
stunning.
beautiful. This
And
was
it
with
doesn't rub off.
This was with an embossing folder
Right.
on acetate, so even when you turn it the other way, I don't know if you can get it, you can, so the acetate, you can see it in between in all of the
Right.
white areas. It's just
Right.
gorgeous.
Isn't that beautiful?
It is
Absolutely
beautiful.
beautiful. And again, a little piece on the inside. And the last little thing to pique your interest is
Okay.
I love white on white. And in the vellum chapter, Teresa focuses on what's going on here. This again is the Flower Frenzy stamp and cutting dies. But isn't that stunning?
It is
when
beautiful.
Paired with the white cardstock that's been embossed.
And then you've got the silver pearl sheets
Right.
behind. So,
So
that's
we'll back up a
beautiful
little bit, and I
accent.
just wanted to let you see it because I thought it was quite
Oh,
stunning.
Just beautiful.
So those are, let me see, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right?
Well, and we showed you about 9 of
Okay.
them with techniques. So this is what Stamp Camp 4 is all about.
Right.
And we will see you tomorrow. We're going to delve more into Stamp Camp 4 DVD.
Sounds like fun?
Yep, we'll see you then.